Exxon Mobil discovers more oil in the STABROEK block. Lower fuel prices at the pumps for drivers across the nation. Businessman vehicle goes missing after returning from Chinese restaurant. In the region, Argentina struggles with booming drug trade, violence, and internationally, malaria vaccine a breakthrough for science, World Health Organization chief says. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Channel 2 Headline News Updates. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. Today, Exxon Mobil announced another oil discovery, this time at the STABROEK 1 well. This fresh discovery is expected to improve the company estimate of the found recoverable resource for the 6.6 million acres STABROEK block offshore Guyana to over 10 billion oil equivalent barrels. President of Exxon Mobil Guyana, Alistair Rutledge, stated that recent finds and continuing projects continue to contribute to the progress of the Guyanese economy. Minister of Natural Resources Vikram Bharat says the latest oil discovery announced at the STABROEK 1 well by Exxon Mobil further enhances the country's offshore potential, and the government will work to ensure Guyanese enjoy maximum benefit from the rapidly growing oil resources. Noting that Guyana currently has the third highest oil reserves in Latin America and the Caribbean region. With the arrival of Liza Unity FPSO later this year and its startup in the first half of 2022, Exxon Mobil Guyana intends to boost its existing production capacity inside the STABROEK block. Continuing our newscast with more positive news, this time for drivers. Fuel prices at the pump today will see a reduction, with gasoline prices expected to drop from $213 per liter to $198 per liter, and diesel prices from $200 per liter to $185 per liter. Last evening, the senior minister in the office of the president with responsibility for finance, Dr. Ashni Singh, announced that the government will be reducing the excise taxes on gasoline and diesel to ease the domestic impact of the continuous rise in the world market price for fuel. In February, the government reduced the excise tax on both gasoline and diesel from 50% to 35%. Since this time, oil prices have continued to rise steadily on the world market. This steady rise in world prices has had a resultant effect on prices in the domestic market also. Minister Singh stated that the government will be reducing the excise tax on the gasoline and diesel from 35% to 20% with immediate effect. This reduction will aid in cushioning the impact on domestic consumers, particularly the traveling public and those productive sectors for whom fuel is an important input. Minister Singh explained that the adjustment in the excise tax on fuel from time to time is part of the measures the government will implement to cushion the domestic impact of world market price fluctuations. After being attacked, bound, and robbed by 3 intruders armed with guns, 2 women are devastated and assessing their losses. Esther Sobers has more.
2 women are traumatized and counting their losses after being attacked, bound, and robbed by 3 males armed with handguns in Underdeeming, West Bank, Demerara. Inquiries disclosed that both victims lived in the same house but separate apartments. The first victim, a 40-year-old businesswoman, claimed that she closed her shop at 6 p.m. and secured herself inside when her friend, a 21-year-old housewife, visited. She came outside and they began conversing. The 3 suspects appeared from the northern direction and held the woman at gunpoint. The 2 women were taken into the first victim's house and duct taped with gray scotch tape and their hands bound with zip straps. The bandits searched and robbed the first victim's home, then proceeded to rob the second victim's home before making good their escape on foot in an unknown direction. The bandits relieved the women of cash, jewelry, cell phones, and other valuable items valued over $900,000. The matter was reported and an investigation is ongoing. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Don't go away after the break. Deputy Police Superintendent pleads not guilty for 9 kg of cannabis found in his vehicle and a cautionary tale for drivers.
When you need money and you gotta get it fast, Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop is the place for that confidential transaction in a quiet and secure location. You'll get the highest value per pennyweight for your gold and also enjoy the lowest interest rates and longest payback period too. Yes, for that instant transaction to solve a pressing financial problem. That Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, 4-6 Boyle Place, that's between the Ministry of Housing on Brick Dam and White Castle Fish Shop, be your first and only choice. Creative Jewelry and Pawn Shop, safe and sound, solid and secure, always there for you. Telephone 231-7878 and 223-8955.
For decades, milk has remained the same, until now. Introducing the Great Dairy Full Cream Milk from Alabama Trading. Enriched with vitamins A to D and calcium to promote healthy teeth, strong bones, and vitality. Great Dairy Milk is delicious and fortified to encourage healthy cell growth within the body. No wonder it's the #1 brand of milk produced in Ireland. Now available nationwide in 400-gram packages at leading supermarkets and wholesale vendors. Distributed by Alabama Trading.
Welcome to Kissoon's Furniture. Find everything you need for your home and more under one roof in our newly decorated showroom. Our locally crafted furniture has been perfected over the last 60 years. From our hands to your home, we also bring to you our newly introduced lines of imported furniture and Sleep Center, where you can find a wide range of beds and mattresses. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 60 years.
Survival Shopping Complex brings to you its delivery service, Shop through WhatsApp. This process is simple. All you need to do is call or message your grocery list to 613-9683 and we will select your items for you and have them delivered directly to you, even out of town. This is convenient because we can stay on the phone with you as we select your favorite brands. We're happy to do your shopping for you. Contact us on WhatsApp today and shop Price Smart at Survival Shopping Complex.
Welcome back. A 27-year-old businessman is tonight in distress after parking his motor van on Alexander Street, Kitty, last evening and returning to find it gone. According to reports, the man parked his vehicle on the western side of the road in front of C. Paul's Sports Bar with the key in the ignition and the engine on. He went into the Chinese restaurant nearby to collect some food and came back to find the vehicle was not there where he parked it. Along with the vehicle worth over $5 million, the man said he also lost $500,000 in cash and important documents that were in the vehicle. Checks made in the surrounding area for the vehicle proved futile, however, investigations are ongoing. On Wednesday, Deputy Superintendent of Police Dexter Brown appeared at the Vigilance Magistrates Court charged by Detective Sergeant Stewart of Cove and John Police Station with the possession of narcotics for the purpose of trafficking. Brown appeared before Magistrates Fabio Zor and pleaded not guilty to the charge. Brown was arrested on Friday, October 1st for possession of cannabis after being intercepted by a roadblock on Lima Dam, Mahaica Public Road. He was found with over 9,000 grams of cannabis in his vehicle. The deputy superintendent of police was arrested and his vehicle was placed in police custody. Brown was remanded to prison until November 2nd for disclosure at Mahika Magistrates Court. 2 cattle ranchers were attacked and robbed this morning in Quarantine Berbice. More from Esther Silvers.
2 cattle ranchers were robbed earlier this morning while on duty in Gorman Gate, Quarantine Berbice. According to reports, the victims were on duty in the guard hut at Gorman Gate, Port Morant, Quarantine Berbice. They were suddenly confronted by 2 perpetrators who gave them several lashes about their bodies, relieved them of 2 haversacks, a torchlight and other items, and made good their escape with the victim's bicycle. The victim reported the matter to the police. The police, acting on information, went to the home of Miss Phoebe in Port Morant, Berbice, where they questioned a 24-year-old male. A search on the premises uncovered 2 haversacks and 3 bicycles, 2 of which has been identified as belonging to the victims. As a result, the suspect was apprehended and taken into custody. Efforts to find the other suspect proved futile. Investigations continue. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Silvers.
Thanks, Esther. Yesterday, the lives of 10 families in Region 5, West Coast Berbice, were transformed after being gifted with newly constructed homes as part of the Food for the Poor Ghana Incorporated 2021 General Housing Program. One of the mandates for Food for the Poor Ghana is to improve securities for families, especially those with children, to ensure they grow in a comfortable environment by providing proper housing. Better housing conditions contribute to better stability and improve both mental and physical health and economic security. Food for the Poor continues to provide housing for families living in extreme conditions. The presentation of ownership certificates was done by PRO Janelle De Vera, who in an interview with Headline News said, Food for the Poor will be distributing 10 more houses in Region 6 tomorrow. Don't go away after the break. Argentina struggles with booming drug trade, violence, and at least 20 dead as houses collapsed in Pakistan earthquake. But before that, here's the bridge retraction schedule.
Survival Shopping Complex brings to you its delivery service, Shop Through WhatsApp. This process is simple. All you need to do is call or message your grocery list to 613-9683 and we will select your items for you and have them delivered directly to you, even out of town. This is convenient because we can stay on the phone with you as we select your favorite brands. We're happy to do your shopping for you. Contact us on WhatsApp today and shop price smart at Survival Shopping Complex.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
KingdomBased taxi service, transportation for every occasion. Short drop, airport, weddings, funerals, and much more. We're located at Lot H. Durbin and Vicingen Road, next to Green City Bar. For honest, efficient, and reliable service, call KingdomBased Taxi Service at 648-5959 or 227-7937. You can count on us.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at news in the region and around the world. Shootings have become an everyday occurrence in Argentina's slums as gangs battle each other to control the local drug trade. There has been a rise in threats, shooting, and even execution over the past year. Now the government is sending federal forces into one of the country's busiest ports to help in the fight against gangs and drugs. Al Jazeera's Teresa Bo reports.
It's become one of the most dangerous cities in Argentina. Rosario, nearly 300 kilometers northwest of Buenos Aires. Shootings have become an everyday occurrence as gangs battle each other to control the drug trade.
We just received a call that a woman heard 30 shots, so we came here as fast as we could. We're evaluating what's going on, checking on possible suspects.
We accompanied the police during several raids across the city. They were looking for drugs, cash, and guns. One of Argentina's most important ports is located here. Authorities say it's a getaway for drugs. And the violence here is all about control of the local trade.
We are seeing cocaine, marijuana. Drug trade has increased in Rosario, and we are trying to go to different areas, like slums, where suspects are hiding. We are seeing lots of young people who are behind the attacks. They begin around 16 years old. Many of them are responsible for several killings. Big gangs are using teenagers and children.
Residents in the slums of Rosario are struggling with poverty and difficulties that have been exacerbated by the pandemic. There's scarcity of food and jobs. Families, especially children, are intimidated by the strong police presence. The gang leader of a group known as Los Monos was recently put on trial for using children to sell drugs and for threatening judicial authorities. He was sentenced to over 80 years in prison. But his power and influence go beyond the prison walls.
The police says that one of the persons being held here has close links with one of the gang leaders that is currently in prison. So operations like this one are happening almost every night as the security forces here in Rosario are trying to tackle violence.
Last week, the government of Alberto Fernandez agreed to send federal forces to help in the fight against gangs after a protected witness was executed. Congressman Carlos del Frade has been receiving threats for months. He has been denouncing for years the system that has allowed the drug trade to flourish.
There are local drug sales, but above them you have criminals in the police, in the justice system, among businessmen who are not appearing anywhere. The real delinquents are not being touched. The gangs can buy everyone. Increasing government forces is only a temporary problem. They have to control the money, and nobody does that.
So for now, the focus is on the slums and on its people. It is here where criminal organizations find the food soldiers they need to continue with their trade. Teresa Bo, Al Jazeera, Rosario.
Internationally, an earthquake has killed at least 20 people in southwest Pakistan. Al Jazeera's Zain Bashvarvi has more.
Most people were asleep in the early morning hours when a shallow earthquake caused death and destruction in southwestern Pakistan.
They say it was a 5.9 magnitude quake, but I would say it was more than that. Lots of lives lost and damage to property. The main mosque of the town was also damaged badly.
Everyone, including women and children, were running here and there. We were scared and didn't know what to do. Later, ambulances arrived and took the injured to hospital.
People in rural Balochistan live mostly in mud brick homes. And as has always been the case across earthquake-prone Pakistan, poor communities that lack modern construction methods, where high build quality is unaffordable, those are the places where earthquakes exact their highest cost.
So far, we've managed more than 200 injuries. We have received 15 dead bodies. We sent some severely injured by road using ambulances and private vehicles to Quetta for better treatment. Those who are in serious condition, we are shifting them using helicopters.
Despite access roads being cut off, by sunrise, rescue crews had reached the town of Harnai and begun sifting through the rubble.
This earthquake, it may not seem very large, but it was shallow. The shaking was very strong in the epicenter area. Harnai is very close. You are only about 15 kilometers away from the epicenter. And so if you add that to the construction of the homes and structures in the area, that will unfortunately cause large damage. The fact that it happened at night when people are sleeping, that even exacerbates the damage and the injuries that would happen in the area.
The quake was felt as far as the provincial capital, Quetta, aftershocks continuing for hours. The area is mountainous and prone to landslides. That poses another threat that could hinder rescue and recovery operations. Rescuers are also trying to reach more than a dozen coal miners trapped underground. Provincial government officials say as many as 100 homes have collapsed so far. And with most people at home in their beds at the time of the earthquake, the number of dead and injured is expected to increase. Zain Basravi, Al Jazeera.
And finally, the World Health Organization has endorsed the first ever malaria vaccine, a game changer in the battle against one of the leading causes of childhood deaths. It's recommended the jabs be rolled out to millions of children across Africa, but there are challenges. Al Jazeera's Victoria Gattenberg reports.
It's being described as a game changer for child health, a vaccine that could help save the lives of hundreds of thousands of children each year in sub-Saharan Africa.
Malaria has been with us for millennia, and the dream of a malaria vaccine has been a long-held but unattainable dream. Today, the RTSS malaria vaccine, more than 30 years in the making, changes the course of public health history.
The GlaxoSmithKline vaccine has been given to infants in Ghana, Kenya and Malawi since 2019 as part of a pilot program. It was found to be about 30% effective at preventing severe cases of the disease, which is transmitted through mosquitoes. But that figure rose to around 70% when the vaccine was combined with other treatments.
I think eradication is still quite some time away, but I think the combination of bed nets, chemoprophylaxis, and this vaccine, or maybe other vaccines in the future, will bring malaria burden of disease down substantially in Africa.
Malaria causes fever, vomiting and fatigue and kills more than 400,000 people each year, mostly children under 5 as well as pregnant women. The RTSS vaccine, also known as Mosquirix, has been welcomed by researchers as an historic breakthrough. But many on the continent worry about funding and whether a mass rollout will be possible in the wake of COVID-19 and other competing priorities.
With malaria being a disease of, especially by and large, a disease for sub-Saharan African children, and given the difficulties that our countries are facing, we hope that the international community is going to stand up and make this vaccine available to the children who need it.
The World Health Organization recommends giving the vaccine to babies in 3 phases, followed by a booster shot, but that may take time. The next step is for the Global Vaccine Alliance, known as Gavi, to look at whether the vaccine is a worthwhile investment. If it's approved, Gavi will buy it for countries that request it, a process that is expected to take at least a year. Victoria Gatenby, Al Jazeera.
And that is it for today's regional and international news. Here now is your 3-day weather forecast. And that is it for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Updates. Tune in on Friday at 5:30 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Now, until then, please take care of yourself and each other.